Memphis is known for being a wild city with a lot of talented rappers. Part of what makes their music so raw is how rappers talk about real life situations in the streets. Let's get into a few Memphis rap lyrics that really happened. All that tough shit be posting don't scare me. I'm in the city, I go where I want. Big Rfol, Big Boogie. Big Boogie's a rapper from Frazier, a neighborhood in North Memphis. These bars are from a Pooh Shiesty diss track called Big Rfol, which Big Boogie dropped after they went back and forth on social media. The beef started over a comment Big Boogie made on IG Live. He was responding to fans' questions and someone asked him about Pooh. Big Boogie just said he thinks he's the better rapper, but Pooh took that as disrespect. He ended up joining the live and pressing him about his comments. After that, they went back and forth dissing each other and making threats. Big Boogie later got on live and said there was no real beef between him and Pooh because they didn't really know each other like that. But Pooh clapped back and claimed he pulled up in Frazier to confront Big Boogie, and he just ran away scared. The two rappers kept sending shots at each other on social media, eventually making Big Boogie drop his diss track, Big Rfol. Not long after that, Big Boogie was performing in Mississippi when his concert got shot up. The shooters fired over 50 rounds and 2 people got killed. But despite the beef, the shooting wasn't linked to Pooh Shiesty. Both rappers confirmed their problems wasn't that serious, and 2 different men was later arrested for the shooting. After that, Pooh and Big Boogie seemed to squash their beef, and no other threats or diss tracks came from either side. But Pooh Shiesty ain't the only Memphis rapper to be the subject of a diss track. This next artist caught bars from the Memphis Vice Lords who claimed they shot at him for being disrespectful. When we pull up, duck. 200 shots in the truck. What type of get shot at and up his gun? Shoot in the air. Pull up to the projects like he really with the shit. With his flag and his hat cocked, boy, we know that he a WTF, Memphis Vice Lords. Duke Deuce is a rapper from Memphis, best known for his breakout hit, Crunk Ain't Dead, which featured a remix with Juicy J, Project Pat, and Lil Jon. The rapper was later signed to Quality Control Records and has continued to put out viral singles ever since. But despite all the success, Duke Deuce has had to deal with old drama from the streets of Memphis. Earlier this year, Memphis Vice Lord members Cartel Da Don, Quando Money, Go Fred, and Playboy Boosie made a diss track about Duke Deuce called WTF. On the track, they make fun of one of Duke Deuce's signature ad-libs and accuse him of dropping the 5. Duke Deuce is affiliated with the GDs in Memphis who beef with the Vice Lords. The Vice Lords are known to rep the 5-point star, while the GDs claim the 6-point star. So, dropping the 5 means he was dissing the Vice Lords. On the track, they also reference a viral video of Duke Deuce getting shot at on IG Live. Back in September, the rapper was chopping it up with fans on social media. At the beginning of the video, he says, "Pepper Tree was popping," referencing the Pepper Tree apartment complex in his home city of Memphis. He tells fans to come outside and join them, assuring them he ain't on no Hollywood shit. But minutes later, gunshots can be heard going off in the distance, and Duke runs for cover behind a nearby car. On the track, the Vice Lords make it seem like they was the ones shooting at Duke Deuce for being disrespectful. They question his street cred for only firing in the air when they were shooting right at him, and diss him for thinking he can come back to the hood and act like he's really like that. Luckily, it don't seem like Deuce was injured in the shooting. He ain't responding to the track, so it's tough to know his side of the story. But it sounds like he was dissing the wrong people, then got a little too comfy talking to his fans on social media. If you thought that was crazy, this next rapper had bars for one of his ops who dissed his dead homie, then ended up getting killed. If you diss on 2-3, swear to God it's gonna be RIP. You ain't heard what happens to the last dude who got left on Trig Street? Rich and ruthless, CEO Jizzle. CEO Jizzle is another rapper from Double R. In this bar, he's talking about one of his ops from Trula Mafia named D Money, who was killed after dissing a dead Double R member named 2-3. 2-3 was a well-respected member who was killed earlier that year. In March 2020, D Money went online and dissed him, writing, "I ain't going out like 2-3, I'm too official, the city know how I rock." A few weeks later, D Money was shot multiple times while driving. Police responded to shots fired at the intersection of East Trigg Avenue and Oak Street. When they arrived, they found the car had crashed into a telephone pole and flipped over on its side. The driver got shot multiple times but was still alive. He was rushed to Regional 1 Hospital in critical condition where he later died. So in this bar, CEO Jizzle is warning other members of Trula Mafia not to diss 2-3 or anyone else from Rich and Ruthless or they'd end up just like D Money. But CEO Jizzle ain't the only one from Double R doing drills. In this next bar, this rapper talks about how his ops had the chance to take him out, but only hit him in the hip. Give a f about your man, get your best man killed. Feeling like the man, yeah, the man of the year. Had a clear shot, still hit me in the hip. Frozone, Big Scar. Big Scar's had a pretty solid run in the rap game. He blew up with his first official song, Make a Play, after it was reviewed by a Polish YouTuber named Tommy CRIES. Not long after that, his cousin introduced him to Gucci Mane, and he signed a deal with 1017. But just as he was gaining traction, he was shot in the hip. He talks about the shooting on his track Frozone and explains exactly what happened in the interview. According to Scar, he was chilling in his old hood in South Memphis when he got ambushed by his Opps. He tried to duck out the way, but ended up getting hit in the hip. Since he was moving at the time, the bullet traveled through his body and ended up going into his lung. He was rushed to the hospital and had to have surgery. The doctors cut open his stomach to get to the bullet, and the surgery ended up messing up his intestines, so he had to get his appendix removed. It also left a huge scar across his stomach, which fits with his rap name, Big Scar. But even after getting shot, Big Scar wasn't fazed. He bounced back a few weeks later and appeared in a music video for So Icy Boys while still recovering. Big Scar kept sending shots at Chula Mafia, rapping, "How the f you a killer? Ain't nobody come up DOA," on the track So Icy Boys with Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano. So, even though his Opps tried to take him out, Big Scar proved he wasn't backing down and continued to apply pressure, even while he was still recovering. But Big Scar ain't the only one sending shots. This next rapper from Chula Mafia responded to all of Big Scar's disses by going after one of his dead homies. "It ain't sweet, ask your homie. I forgot that boy deceased. We left him dead at the red light. That's for playing with me. How we livin', main op Cmode." Cmode is one of the main rappers and shooters from Chula Mafia. He's the brother of Damo Trula, one of the gang's most respected members, and he came up in the streets with some of the gang's top hitters. In this bar, Cmode's taking shots at one of Big Scar's close homies and Double R member named BG. On July 16, 2018, members of Chula Mafia caught BG at a red light at the intersection of Winchester and Hickory Hill Road. BG was in the whip with 3 other dudes when another car pulled up alongside him. Inside that car was Chula Mafia members Cmode, Zay, and Go Crazy. When they spotted they op, they hopped out and started shooting. BG was killed, and right beside him in the passenger seat was 2-3, who was injured but survived, only to be killed a few weeks later. Police arrested Carlos Lacey, aka Go Crazy, and charged him with first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, and 3 counts of aggravated assault. He was arrested during a traffic stop and later admitted to being the one responsible for the double homicide. Cmode was later arrested in connection with a different shooting and charged with 7 counts of attempted murder. According to police, Cmode sprayed up a house on the 5600 block of Myers while 5 people was inside. If that wasn't enough, he returned to the same house less than a week later and shot at 2 people standing in the front yard. At the time of his arrest, Cmode had already been arrested 4 times in less than a year, but 2 of the cases got dismissed. The murder of BG is what really sparked the war between Double R and Chula Mafia. There was already tension between them, but BG was close to Big Scar and other Double R members, so his death was a major loss and only turned up the war with Chula Mafia. But Big Scar ain't the only member of his family beefing in Memphis. This next rapper dissed one of his Opps on a track that peaked at number 13 on the Billboard charts. "All that wolfing on the net, I thought you was a thug. I ain't got nowhere to go, I shot up everywhere they was. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you? Come get it back in blood. Come get it back in blood." Pooh Shiesty was on his way to becoming one of the biggest rappers in the game before getting locked up for 2 separate shootings. Part of what made him so popular was his authenticity, which also might have led to his downfall. On his hit single Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, Pooh disses one of his main ops from Memphis, EBGE Jizzle. Pooh Shiesty and his homies allegedly hit a lick on EBGE Jizzle's crib and sold some guns. So on the track, Pooh's telling him to come get him back. EBGE Jizzle responded with his own remix of Back in Blood, where he gave his side of the story. But the track got taken down for a copyright strike. EBGE Jizzle later explained in an interview that when Pooh hit the lick, he wasn't even home, and Pooh had his label take down the EBGE Jizzle remix. He also claims Pooh ain't really about that life, and he was just trying to seem tough for the net. EBGE Jizzle continued dropping diss tracks, and the 2 sent shots back and forth on social media. Not long after, Jizzle got shot in the arm, so Shiesty and his homie Big 30 used that to diss him, claiming he was paralyzed. But Jizzle bounced right back and dropped another diss track called Paralyzed to show he wasn't backing down. So Memphis rappers really ain't the ones to play with. The rise of Memphis drill has exposed fans to what's really going on in the streets, and the lyrics tell it all. It might only be a matter of time till another body drops or someone else gets locked up. So we'll see if the rappers can keep the beef out of the streets and just leave it in the music.